Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soundbyte. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to be jumping into some Megadeth, brand new Megadeth from their final album. This is a self-titled album, I believe, so I guess it's a sort of way to go and end things with a self-titled. It's always an interesting concept, a self-titled album, and I've asked many musicians about that, so it's always an interesting sort of conversation. But Megadeth are putting out the first single off their last album, Tipping Point, and I've got an official music video, so I'm going to be doing a reaction to that today. I've been a fan of Megadeth for a very, very, very long time, and I've done a couple of reactions on this channel, but that was actually suggested by a few people as well. So I thought I'd do a brand new one, and in all honesty, they've always been a bit of a hit and miss with me with Megadeth. Like sometimes they put out a banger of an album, and other times it's kind of like kind of a luster sort of an album. So I don't know. I'm keen to see what they've done here for this final album. Obviously, it's got a different lineup again, with Dave Mustaine, obviously, and Timu, James Lomenzo, and Dirk Verburen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's a super nice guy. Basically, I've interviewed him once or twice in the past as well. So I kind of feel bad about not pronouncing his name correctly. But anyway, that's a killer lineup, though. All tremendous musicians. So let's get into this anyway. Megadeth, Tipping Point. Will Vic Rattlehead be in this? That's a tasty riff. And it's a thrasher. Another great drummer by the way, Dirk. Tremendous drummer.
Today I may bleed, but tonight you will die. Smashed in your sleep in the blackest night. You buried the truth under layers of lies. There's no return, now you've crossed the line. Push me, I push you back. Tipping point.
All right, I'll just quickly pause it there. Song's sounding fantastic so far. Everyone's on point. It's a thrasher of a song, really tight. It's got that sort of Megadeth sort of sound, sort of old school thrash metal, which they've never really lost, to be honest, apart from a couple of moments here and there, like with Risk and stuff. The band have always had that sort of certain sound that you kind of instantly recognize if you kind of know what Megadeth sound like. Obviously Dave Mustaine has a sort of signature sort of sound and style that he is just, you know, widely sort of known. Yeah, this is a fantastic song so far. And the video is kind of, you know, it's just, I guess, a typical video to some extent, I guess, and it's sort of in a prison and sort of abandoned prison or whatever. It's nothing to be sort of talked about too much, but it's really more about the song, really, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on. And yeah, it's just a fantastic song. Hopefully the rest of the album will sort of follow and be just as good. We'll see. But this is a great start to a promising album.
Watching the life drain out from your eyes, crossing my heart, how I hope you will die. Push me, I push you back. Tipping point. Tipping point.
breakdown.
of voices that aren't there, with no one else around. You try to stop the footsteps and stop the heart that beats. You will beg for silence. You will pray for
All right, but just before they continue on, yeah, like a fantastic song, like I said before. The solos is really kind of what drives Dave Mustaine, but for Megadeth, the solos is what kind of captures a lot of people, I think, and it is kind of what separates them from the rest of the big four as well. You know, with Metallica and Slayer and Anthrax. Those bands are not really the solo-y sort of bands that Megadeth are. Megadeth definitely sort of focus a lot on the sort of intricate, sort of like complex arrangements and the kind of real blistering sort of fast solos. That's just one of, again, like one of trademarks that Dave Mustaine has kind of stamped onto Megadeth over the years, and obviously come up with some of the most mesmerizing and eye-popping sort of solos over the years, you know. So and this stuff that's on here so far has been so fantastic. His guitarist Timu has been doing a great job here with the band, and I've never seen the band with this lineup so far. I've seen them in previous years with different lineups and stuff. Never seen them with this one, so I'm keen to kind of see them. Hopefully, if they do sort of their last rounds, I'm hoping they do a world tour or whatever. So yeah, like I said, I'm really digging this track so far.
you won't define me. You won't deny me. I'm at my tipping point. You won't define me. You'll never find me. I'm at my tipping point. You won't define me. You won't deny me. I'm at my tipping point. You won't define me. You'll never find me. I'm at my tipping point.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That was the winner. I love that track. Kind of had a lot of everything that Megadeth are all about. Great solos, great groove. Just classic arrangements by the band. It's Dave Mustaine doing what he does best. Is really it's kind of one of those things that Megadeth are kind of known for. That kind of just straight to the point, kind of you know, sharp attack of just riffs and solos and just you know, they've never been like the heaviest band in the world. They've always been kind of, like I said, you know, kind of more the intricate sort of like, you know, solos and complex arrangements and stuff like that, you know. And I guess if you wanted something heavier, you'd have to go with Slayer or, you know, sort of more your death metal kind of stuff. But even the breakdown though, that was a heavy sort of, you know, part as well. I just loved everything about it. So this is a very promising track. Hopefully the rest of the album will be just as good. My experience always with the singles, and I've talked about this a few times before, is that the singles the bands put out are never the best songs. Like the hidden gems are really the rest of the album, you know. So I'm hoping that's the case, because if this is like the not best song on the album, then I mean this is going to be a fantastic album. So, but we'll find out. I guess it's going to be released, I think, early next year or something. I think. And this will sadly be the final album from Megadeth, which is really, you know, obviously we're getting to a point now where all these legacy bands are starting to kind of like call it quits and stuff, you know. So it's been an interesting sort of observation so far to see it all happening kind of in real time, you know, and it kind of obviously gives you a reflection on your own self, and you realize, okay, you're not obviously getting older and stuff, you know, so you kind of seeing all your heroes kind of like, you know, drop off one by one, you know. It's only a matter of time before the rest of the big four kind of go on their way. Well, Slayer have obviously called it quits, although it's kind of weird because they've kind of been doing these sort of one-off shows. So I don't know what's going on with them. Every time a band says they're retiring or calling it quits, whatever, and then 5 years later down the track they've come back again. You know, it's happened so many times. We know the bands that we're talking about that have done that a few times. So I don't know about Megadeth. I guess they're definitely calling it quits, but who knows? You know, you never know these days, right? With Anthrax and Metallica, well, those are the other two. They're still going strong though. They're still putting out solid albums. So I mean, who knows? I guess it just comes down to a physical sort of thing. You know, how long can these guys keep touring and doing these 2 hour shows of this kind of music? Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. I remember having a conversation with the drummer from Cannibal Corpse, Paul Merkowitz, I think it's how you pronounce, and we are talking about the sort of the physical elements of bands who play extreme metal like that, and how long, especially for drummers, you know, how long can they keep doing this? And yeah, I mean, these guys are all in their 60s now, you know, and this is the first time for this kind of music to kind of hit that point where, you know, uh, how far can they keep going? Because it's never really been done before. You know, all the bands before that were not as heavy as your Megadeths and your Slayers and stuff, you know, so they were able to get away with it more. You know, the AC/DCs and Rolling Stones are still going because the music is not as demanding, even though there's a lot of energy and all that kind of stuff and a lot of running around. And obviously they try to keep fit and all that kind of stuff. It's not death metal. It's not thrash metal. Do you know what I mean? So there's a bit of a difference there. And this is where we're kind of seeing the guinea pigs kind of go in and calling it quits. Although, you know, with Megadeth and Slayer calling it quits, it wasn't because of physical reasons, though. It was other reasons. So that's an interesting point as well. Maybe there's a mental capacity where you kind of feel like you're done, you know? So anyway, thank you for tuning in as always. Please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to those that have subscribed. And if you want to hear me do more Megadeth or see me do more Megadeth, let me know. Let me just suggest some stuff as well. I've done a couple of them in the past, but if you want me to do something different, especially for stuff that I maybe haven't heard in a while, you know, maybe some of the mid-tier stuff or maybe some of the later stuff, let me know and I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, anyway, thank you for tuning in as always, like I said before, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.